So friends, welcome to part 2 of API 577, Welding Inspection and Metallurgy Examination. In part 1, we went through what this certificate is about and what's the exam structure and publication effectivity, body of knowledge. And in part 2, we are going to go through the exam tutorial. So this is the first document that you see before your examination starts. It practically tells you how it works, the desktop should work on the exam buttons and all this. So it's always better to look at it before actually attending the exam. That would decrease your stress that you already have probably when going for the exam. If we go to that exam tutorial, you see that it tells you the same tutorial actually happens for all the exams of 71, 77, 80, and the rest of them. And this is a one-part exam, and also tells you how actually the buttons work. So after reading through this, you have 10 minutes during the exam to look at this, or if you finish this section earlier. So the very first thing you see is the name of the exam. Here it says 510 pressure vessel, but you'll see 577 welding inspection and metallurgy on the top left-hand corner. In the top right-hand corner, the candidate's name, which should be your name, you should see. So basically, when you have been ID verified with a government-issued photo ID, and you have been asked security questions, and the invigilator will then take you to your desktop that you have to do the exam. If it's in Prometric Test Center, if it's from your home or office, it will ask you some other questions, and you have to do some other security activities, but I'll go about that at the remote proctoring section. Okay. Then the very first thing, when you are at your desktop, it asks you the exam is API 577. In this case, for example, welding inspection, metallurgy, and your name is so-and-so. And once you confirm it, it takes you to the tutorial, which is this one. Now, on tutorial, it says you keep doing the next button, so you go to next page or back, or and then if you ask for translation, normally the translation, free translation is available, Korean, Chinese, and Spanish. So if you opt for this, so you will have a bilingual, all the languages would be bilingual in the English, and as well as the language, one of these 3 languages that you have selected if you are not native speaking and you know one of these languages. And also, you see in the middle, you can see the time remaining. So when you start the exam, the time starts ticking. And remember that this time will not pause or stop. So you got 3 hours, 15 minutes or 195 minutes. And if you want to go and have water or want to go to toilet, so you need to ask the invigilator to let you leave the room, examination room, or if it's a remote proctoring, you have to ask the invigilator that still permission before going out to drink water or whatever, and or going to toilet. It's not advised because it's coming off your time. The time keeps ticking. Yeah. And once you return back, you have to go through the same security checks, ID verification, government issued photo ID, passport, or driving license, security questions, etc. Again, it's exactly the same sort of, you have to show your pockets that there is nothing in it. You have to show your glasses that is not holding any means of telecommunication or camera. So it's always advisable that you go to the toilet, you drink enough water that you can sustain you for 3 hours. So the time keeps ticking, and you can see the time. And because it's 110 questions for 195 minutes, you'll have less than 2 minutes per question. So roughly, you have to answer around 40 questions per hour in order to keep the pace. The time management is important. You don't want to panic with lots of questions unanswered. There is no negative marking, so you have to make sure that you answered all the questions because that increases your chances of passing. Okay, back to the tutorial. This is a cursor you see, same as any other desktop where your cursor is when you are moving the mouse, and it's not huge thing. It's a normal like any other desktop function. So if the question is too long, it comes and says this page requires scrolling, so you have to scroll to see the whole question or hold your answers, your multi choices, and there is a calculator icon. If you click on that, I don't think you need any calculation, but if you, in case you need for the exam, then you have a desktop calculator anyway on your desk, and it's a non-scientific, some subtraction and all that, simple calculator, and then you can do the calculation on the desktop itself. And as you can see, there are all these questions you can see on the column on your left side. So if it is green, it means the question has not been answered. If it is answered, it becomes darker, something like a black. And if it's pointed, that means that that's the question you are. At this point, we are at question number 26. We answered question 27. 28 has not been answered. And if you see this flag here on 29, that means you have flagged off this question. You click on the question and you get flagged. And if the number of questions is obviously 110, so if you click on this, there are more questions coming down, trickling down. Okay, so if it's once you answer the question, that question turns color. You see the cell question, answer number C has changed color. So you know that which one you actually checked. And if you click on that, it turns white, and then you can click on some other one. You choose, say, B by clicking on the box B with the mouse or cursor. And that is your chosen answer. And if you have to answer two answers, which I haven't seen actually, but if it is that's the case, it always like select two that apply. So you have to choose two answers here. So in this case, A and D was chosen by the candidate. And there are other options also, which I haven't seen in real exam, but if there is a drag and drop option, for example, you tip the cursor on, say, December, pull it down to the box for months of the year, and also same for June. And the other two, horse and dog, you tip the cursor on them, each box one by one, and pull it down, and it will look something like this. So this will be your answer if there is a drag and drop. If it's connecting the dot, then you click, say, on dog, and then you click on canine, and it will connect the dog to canine. If you want to change your answer, then you click, say, on canine. The dog already been clicked, and then say feline, and then it will connect the dog to feline. So that's how it works. Very simple. This particular one is, I found it very useful. There is a flag up button, and this is for questions that you are in doubt and you want to have a proper time management, do not want to waste too much time on this, but then you want to come at the end of the exam or during the remaining time to go and have a look at it once again with peace of mind that you're not short that time. So if any question you have not, you're not 100% sure the answer it to the best of your knowledge, but flag it off, and at the end you can come back to it. I'll tell you later. So this question all have this flag icon on them. This is particularly useful, and if you want to concentrate on a part of the question, you can keep the cursor on words like how would you, while still keep pressing on the cursor, you push it down, it's like highlight that area. So if you want to concentrate on highlight exactly on the important part of the question, so to concentrate on them, that's available, that option. And the other option also that I find useful is that if you have, say, 4 answers, but you're not sure which one is the correct one, but at the same time, you know that 2 of them are absolutely wrong. So you keep the cursor on that rather than clicking it, right click, and it will extract that question. And same you do on the, say here we did on A and C. And then this way you can focus on answers, the choices B and D. So that will like tunnel your and maximize your chance of getting it right. So this is also a useful one. Keep the cursor on the box and right click and strike it off. And if you have any comments, you can write on any question that you want to challenge. You can leave a comment. But remember that this is coming off your time. So time management is very important. And then at the end, you can filter. I would rather recommend that you click on unattempted and see if there is nothing is missing. Like apart from this color here, they all turn black. You also filter and see absolutely there is 0 question that is not attempted. So because there is no negative marking, you want to increase your chance of passing. And then the next one is the flagged off question that I told you about. You can tick the flag box and then filter it by flag question. And then at the end, last 15 minutes, say 10, 15 minutes, you can look at those flagged off questions. You want to have a look at it once again and to see that you have chosen the best answer. Okay. So without panicking for shortage of time. So this one is particularly very useful. And I would recommend that you use all your 195 minutes or 3 hours, 15 minutes of time. Don't finish it. But if you want to finish the section, you can click on the finish section and it asks you twice. Once when it says that you have not attempted all of the questions in this section and time is still remaining. If you select finish section, you will not be able to return to the section. So do you still want to finish it? And if you click yes, it says if you select finish section, you will not be able to return to this section. And if you say again, click on finish section, then that your exam is concluded because this is a 1-part exam. So I would not advise this, that you finish earlier. Take your time. And this is the conclusion of the tutorial. And next video, we are going to talk about schedule and fees. And see you then. Bye. This is Ash from inspectortraining.com.